The PSP Go. Back in 2009, when this thing was released, we were literally handed the future of video games. And we collectively said no. The promise of an all-digital future where the only thing separating you from a catalog of thousands of games was just a spotty Wi-Fi access point. And we flatly rejected it. The fact that Sony publicly stated that the whole project was, quote, an experiment certainly cast a vote of no confidence in the whole idea of games no longer being physical things. But the PSP Go's legacy isn't bad, at least not in the original sense of the word, derived from the Middle English word beetle, meaning effeminate man. No, because she's a classy lady. Whether those curves are in piano black or pearl white, you needed to be a big spender for a night on the town with this one. $250 was the premium for this premium product. The 3000 model PSP coexisted alongside the Go, so there was already a cheaper alternative that addressed the most common complaint.
No UMD disk drive.
And what was it we saw in those vestigial remnants of physical media? Lest we remember the classic films that were immortalized in the format. Grandiose motion pictures the likes of Stealth. The movie whose title implores we forget that it was ever here. And we did. But there's no shame in owning a UMD copy of Stealth, because those that did make the purchase can safely admit so, because there was a Wipeout Pure demo packed in.
3 whole levels.
And the PSP Go was packing 3 whole games of your choosing in a bundle 6 months after launch, so no harm, no foul. So what's the draw? What's the sell? Well, in addition to the obviousness of the smaller, sleeker form factor, the PSP Go has 16 gigabytes of onboard memory to start.
16 gigabytes to fill with your crap!
And it was easily expandable from there via a side-loaded memory card. The slot was for an M2 memory card, a proprietary format, but that's what they make adapters for. Oh, and that screen!
There's a clock.
Every PlayStation Portable game looks objectively better when played on the PSP Go. Compare that to the original 1000 model. Look at this, look at this, look at the puppy. Look at this, look at this, look at the puppy. And sure, Nintendo was literally slaying the competition in the streets with the hardware they were selling at the time, but does anyone really want to go back to the tap-tap-touchy days of the DS with their stylus all hunched over in a corner? I didn't think so, because the PSP Go has component video out to your TV screen. And no, I'm not talking
sitting 5 feet away because the cord don't reach.
And you can be blissfully seated on a couch, playing a game, holding a normal-sized controller in your hand. Because, little known fact, you can sync a DualShock 3 up to a PSP Go. That's just Bluetooth. Therein, once seated on the Sony-branded cradle, you effectively have an entire console with tons of unique games. The PSP catalog has tons of one-off titles from respectable franchises the world over. And it wasn't as if these games were just simply dumbed-down ports from the big boy consoles. No, that's what a PlayStation Vita is for. There were PSP spin-off titles, complete reimaginings, and some genuinely important games that would only prove so for crucial story plot points years down the line, despite being voiced by an entirely different voice actor. Not being too specific, but in general, the PSP's library is a decent one, and we'll never know what could have been thanks to the rampant piracy that plagued the handheld in its golden years. Now, what of our inevitable all-digital future? There is still room for the PSP Go to serve as the analog experience in light of pedestrian emulation. There are no moving parts to wear out unless you're a complete yabo with a sliding hinge, and a battery can be replaced with a steady hand. So it certainly can live on beyond the shuttering of the PSN as we know it. We now have the hindsight and understanding that it was the precursor to what we have come to expect from a modern gaming experience. And that pause game feature? Did I forget to mention the pause game feature that allows you to go into a hibernation state when you turn it off and then pick up right where you left off? Remind you of anything? The PSP Go isn't perfect, because perfect is a word reserved for deities and booties from rap videos. No, the PSP Go is good. The PSP Go is good, and I wouldn't remember it for being anything less.